Gemini, what is going on? I hope you're doing well. We are in between eclipses. We had the solar already, coming up on the lunar. So since we are in between, this week we are going to have the full moon in Pisces with the partial lunar eclipse. So let's see what's going on with you. You could be feeling things more. Getting a hunch of instead of thinking just logically about something, you're going to get a feeling that will confirm it one way or another. You're being asked to feel through this, whatever this is for you. What's going on for Gemini? Yeah, you see, you're currently 4 of Cups. Disconnected from your feelings, maybe. Oh, challenge, Page of Cups. Yep. Yeah, Gemini, I get it. I have a lot of Gemini too, you know. We like to talk about our feelings. We like to think about them. Now, I am a Scorpio sun. So I can have some emotion and feeling as well, but Gemini does, come into play a lot. And I think you're just right now a little disconnected from how you feel about something. So you're thinking about it. You might be talking about it, but you're struggling to understand how you feel about it. What's the root? King of Cups. Feelings. It's getting in balance, right? So you're Gemini, yeah, your logic, you can think about it, you can talk about it, you're getting logic through whatever this is you want to do, or it's going to be different. I don't know what it is, but there's something, and you're like, okay, now I got to get balanced. Do I feel good about this? Do I feel bad about this? Do I feel like I want to do this? Do I feel like I want to stop doing this? Do I feel like I want to go there? Do I feel like I don't? It's the balance. Past, 7 of Swords. There was a lie. There was some sort of deception. I don't know if that was you about yourself or somebody really deceived you. What's your higher self? You got the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. So maybe you're contemplating an opportunity, but your logical mind is probably taking over on this. What do you got in the future? Queen of Pentacles in reverse. I feel like this is work-life balance. You're going to realize coming up in the future, whatever the decision this is that you're making, you want to make sure that there's work-life balance. And that's a big theme for you right now with this partial lunar eclipse. So how appropriate that in the near future, probably coming through this full moon, as you start to feel it, maybe there's an opportunity or something, or there's an opportunity or there's something you want that you're trying to feel, am I lying to myself about this? I think, is it going to make things worse? Am I going to have work-life balance? What about you currently? Well, you're resting on it. You're peaceful, you're, I think, taking maybe some time off, time away, and you're trying to rest your mind. Okay, you're trying to stay grounded right now. And that's probably happening because of the full moon in Pisces. So don't forget, Pisces is emotional. They're in the water 24/7, right? They're always swimming in the ocean of emotion. And so right now, I think that's what's happening for you is you're already starting to get in your feels. So it's slowing your mind down, right? So your mind chatter is not as much. And now you're just kind of feeling it. So this is where I think the whole root of this was to get into balance. So what's going on outside of you? 8 of Wands. Well, there's a lot going on outside of you. We'll have to clarify. I don't, something's moving quick. See, I feel you're taking a rest, that the others around you are in a lot of communication. There's a lot of movement. There's a lot of activity I'm seeing. Maybe you took time off or you're, in rest period while everybody else around you there's a lot going on and you're like, no, I'm resting. But maybe, I don't know, let's clarify. Hopes and fears. We've got the 9 of Swords. You might be a little worried about being worried. As simple as that. You're Gemini, you always got a lot on your mind. Okay, so what's the outcome? We've got the 3 of Pentacles in reverse. It gives me a strong feeling of you really coming to this conclusion that you want work-life balance. You don't want to, Gemini is always the one doing the research, learning. Mind is constantly going. And now with Gemini in the sign of Uranus, right? It's mental overload for us, right? Where everybody's kind of learning to think like Gemini, and that's what I think is happening is the others around you, there's a lot of chatter, there's a lot of movement, a lot of activity, and this could very well be, just in general, people that, maybe you took a vacation, maybe you retired, maybe some of you quit. I don't know. Maybe you were in the position to do that. It's something that allowed you to check out. Meanwhile, the others around you are still going. So maybe you're afraid and worried about having anxiety of going with a feeling of, is this correct? Because the outcome is, there might be some conflict within a group because you've checked out, right? Because you're like, well, I'm going to start living my life a little bit more. I'm not going to be here in the middle of what you guys are doing, right? Because you had the pentacle in reverse. There may have been a new opportunity for learning, or a new opportunity for a project or something at work, something in real life, and maybe in the past, you were lied to, that maybe you were getting into something that was going to allow work-life balance and it didn't. And now you're worried that you're going to end up jumping out of the frying pan into another frying pan. What's the bottom of the deck? It was called to look, judgment. That's you taking a look at the situation, making a final call. Scorpio energy. That's your subconscious mind is saying, okay, let's take a look at this. We got to make a final call on which way we want to go. It's kind of like maybe there's an opportunity coming up that you're not sure about. And the outcome is, it could possibly be something that would take away from you. And also the Queen of Pentacles can be not feeling as ambitious as you normally are. So I feel like you're seriously grounding yourself. So all right, tell me about the disconnection. The Four of Cups. Tell me about this disconnection, the Four of Cups. Single, currently available. Projected. Future. One more. Recalling, that's the memories. It's like some of you are currently feeling very disconnected, not content with your life because you are still single, right? And you're worried about the future. Missing out on making memories, right? Not just about work, right? Work-life balance was, I think, the key thing here is you don't want to feel disconnected from enjoying your life and making memories. You don't want to maybe always be single, right? Maybe you're married to your job and you want space for future to find somebody to make memories with, or possibly with the recalling, you're hoping to have maybe a person return back into your life, right? Because it was all about work and now you're like, no, I'm switching my gears. Maybe you didn't have time to date this person. You didn't have time to hang out with this person, talk to them. Because your people around you, it's like they're picking up the slack. And so it's going to cause, in the outcome, cause conflict, because maybe you were depended on quite heavily in what it is that you do. And now you're taking this break. You might be taking more breaks. Not saying, maybe that's just it. You're just taking a break and you're trying to figure out the best way to get work-life balance. But the others around you, it's like, oh boy, we didn't realize how much we depended on Gemini. But Gemini's tired of not having joy in their life, people, connection. Because like I said, you're currently feeling disconnected from your emotion. So what was this in the past? 7 of Swords. Interview. I feel like you guys walked right into a job. There was an interview. You were lied to about work-life balance, right? So you thought you were coming to an agreement in your interview that you were walking into an environment that supported work-life balance, and it was deceitful. And now you're flipping the script and you're like, I'm out of here. I'm taking a break, taking a vacation. I'm not taking on all these projects. See, your higher self, all the opportunities is in the upright. The higher self, it's in the reverse. You're like, no, I don't want to take on that project. Okay. I have plans to go somewhere on this specific date. Oh boy. Yeah. In the past, you were lied to in an interview, in a conversation. You thought you were walking into work-life balance and it was a straight up lie. Okay. Well, you know what? I think we're getting the gist here. Let's go to the 8 of Wands outside of you. 8 of Wands outside of Gemini. Others, thoughts, and their feelings. What's going on? Oh, jeez. There's the lockdown. Too many. We're going to put these back. If it's meant to come out, it'll come out again. So they're mentally frustrated. Well, because Gemini, you are the one. You are the brain. You have the ideas because you're constantly curious, learning, problem solving. And they're feeling like they're not used to you being gone and them having to solve problems. Yeah, see? Pressure cooker. Exactly. They're feeling the pressure while you're gone. Taking your break, rest, and relaxation. They're feeling what you feel on a daily basis because there is no work-life balance here. So, okay. And it's pressure. Like they're ready to explode because they're like, whoa, there's too much going on here. How does Gemini do it? How do they keep up with it? Because they don't have a life. They're just now seeing this. Tell me about the hopes and fears of the 9 of Swords. Maybe you're hopeful they feel the anxiety that you felt and worry. Tell me more about this. That's not for all of you. That's for somebody specific. So we've got the desire, denial, legal. So that's a lot like the justice. It's yeah. It's kind of like you hope they see the truth about how much anxiety and worry you've had to put up with, you know. You have other desires in life other than just work. And you don't want to be in denial about it anymore. But at the same time, you hope that they're seeing what you have been talking about. I think maybe you've tried to bring this up, and maybe people thought that you were just talking, you know? They had work-life balance. So it was like they didn't see what was happening from your point of view. But the universe has rearranged things to make them see it, feel it, the pressure of the mental overload. What is this outcome with the Three of Pentacles? The outcome of causing conflict. Maybe realizing there's lack of teamwork where more people need to step in and help each other. So there is work-life balance. What is this? Access granted. Retaliation. Financial. Yeah, it's like, I feel like the ones around you, because of it's causing conflict for them right now. And some of them, I feel like they're like, wait a minute, I'm not getting paid enough for all this. They're finally getting access and seeing everything that you've gone through. So now it's causing conflict within the group, within the enterprise, the company. See, there's shades here. They're not in denial because now they're picking up what slack you're not doing anymore because you're outliving your life. And it's like they feel like they don't get paid enough for this. They want access to more financials. But yet, there's lack of growth, right? If you don't have enough help or people wanting to come together to solve problems, to give people work-life balance, they're going to start to just take it. And I think you've already started that path. And because you're gone, somebody has to pick up your work while you're out, right? It's a chain reaction. So everybody's starting to see how much everybody's dealing with, and that, there's no room to grow if not everybody's happy. So if you get burned out and you're not living your life, what's going to happen? You're eventually going to leave. And it feels like maybe more people are starting to leave because they're starting to take the shades off and see that, wait a minute, there really isn't work-life balance, and they're feeling it. They're going through the feeling, and this could be a realization because you're already disconnected. You already see that you don't want to be lonely in the future, whether that's being connected to somebody in love, whether it's, having a friend group. When you get older, you retire, companies don't care about you. You're gone. But when you're older and you're not able to move around, and, maybe you're not able to meet people or have enough companionship in your life, that's Pisces energy. That is companionship, compassion. You know what I'm saying? Dreams, following dreams other than just, financial support. There's more to life. Let's get an emotional card for you. You're definitely, you already know work-life balance. That's it. And that is part of you for this lunar eclipse. I think others are going to follow suit behind you because you're going to start taking more time for yourself if you haven't already. All right, so let's get an emotional card for you for Gemini. Detachment. Yeah, you're totally detaching from this whole situation. Like I said, there you are, 4 swords, mentally resting, and you're totally detaching yourself from the overall situation so you can feel what it is you truly want. And I feel that is, you want to stop working so hard. You want to love. The whole root is the King of Cups, right? Getting yourself in balance. Work-life balance. Whatever that life part means to you will be different for everybody. Some of you just want to go out and travel. Some of you want to meet friends. Some of you want to fall in love. Detachment is the liberation from emotional or material dependence, allowing you to maintain independence and balance. Detachment is not always about giving, but releasing what no longer serves you, enabling you to view the world with clarity. See, you're already seeing this. So you're already detaching yourself from the responsibility so much. I feel like maybe you've taken on too much responsibility, and therefore it's caused you to not have more of a life. And I think with you detaching, those around you in your environment are now feeling it. And I feel it's going to start to follow suit, and others will be more on board with fighting for the work-life balance, whatever that means to you, that life part. I hope this resonated. I hope it helped. I hope it gave some clarity for you. If so, comment, like, share, subscribe. All that helps. Until the next one, Gemini, I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon.